Hi folks, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always a huge thanks for joining me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan, and thank you for joining me in this week's Thursday's Thought. I'm going to dive into the main meat of this video in just a second, but I wanted to say that if you're watching this video and you like what you're seeing, you like what you're hearing, you like the look of the rest of my channel, then it would be great if you could click that red subscribe button. It's in the bottom right hand corner of your screen right now. Click that at any point during the video and become a subscriber. Fingers crossed, if you're not already, you will be very soon. You've probably heard of the phrases buy cheap, buy twice, or buy once, cry once, and those phrases are often used to associate the perception that lower quality, lower priced equipment is more likely to fail and you have to buy it again. Buy cheap, buy twice, or by buying expensively to begin with, although it's a painful experience, that kit's likely to last you longer. Buy once, cry once. And I've been thinking about that recently as I've been going through some of my kit, doing a little bit of a spring clean, and I've been thinking about whether this buy cheap, buy twice, or buy once, cry once principle really does stand up or not. One of my oldest pieces of outdoor kit that I own is my metal mug, my nesting metal mug. I use the word nesting loosely because in actual fact it doesn't quite nest into the British Army issue water bottle that I was using at the time and still use now. It doesn't quite fit in there. I remember buying this, I bought it in the early 90s. There was a Crusader mug in circulation at the time that fitted the issue water bottle perfectly. It was purpose built for that, but it was more expensive, and I remember at the time, for whatever reason, I went for the cheaper option because it was cheaper. I didn't have to pay as much money, it kind of did the same job, it just wasn't as convenient because it didn't nestle together quite as nicely. I bought a cheaper version of a product that was out there. I bought that in the early 90s. It's now 2019 and that mug is still going strong. It still doesn't quite fit over the top of the water bottle. I've learned to live with that a long time ago. So there's an example whereby I could have purchased a more expensive option. I didn't, I bought a cheaper option. It hasn't broken, I haven't bought twice, it's still lasting me some 25 years later, it's still in use. The other side of the coin, of course, is that I've purchased cheap equivalents of other equipment in the past. I remember buying cheap plasticky map cases in my younger days. I remember buying cheap versions of gaiters in my younger days, and inevitably within weeks, maybe a few months of using them, I ditched them because they broke, because they didn't do the job that I wanted them to do, because they just had a poor user experience from my experience of using them. So I've got some examples of buying cheap and buying twice in the case of map cases and gaiters, and probably lots of other things that escape my memory at the moment. I can't ever remember buying an expensive version of something and it failing. It possibly has, I'm not saying that it hasn't, but I can't remember those occasions, and I suspect, being a Yorkshireman, if I've had to part with good money for something and it's let me down, I would probably remember them. So in terms of the buy cheap, buy twice, I've got some success stories and I've got some horror stories about that. I don't have any horror stories about buying once, crying once with a more expensive version. But that's what I think. I think, you know, the answer is it depends. Like so many things in life, it depends. You can buy decent quality cheap stuff, you can buy poor quality cheap stuff. You can buy very expensive crap, and you can buy some really good quality expensive stuff as well. It depends. So that's my thoughts on the subject, but I'm interested in hearing yours. In particular, have you bought anything that was cheap, that's still lasting you many years down the line? Flip side of that story, of course, have you ever bought anything cheap and it's literally fallen apart the first time you've used it or shortly after? Or have you ever bought any expensive equipment expecting it to last a lifetime or certainly a decent amount of time and it's just let you down? Thank you as always for joining me. I'll see you back out in the woods, not out in the plains, but out in the woods very shortly. I'm going to be heading out tomorrow to do an all-day video. I look forward to seeing you at the end of that. Cheers.